welcome back to the Drawn by Annie channel. I'm very glad to see you back with me. So today, this is a part 2 of my big project where I was drawing my original characters. And you can hear my cat saying hi to you on the background. I hope you don't mind that. Take your coffee, tea, snacks, and let's start. So today I'm going to draw second part of the big project with Chibi sisters. If you haven't checked part 1 of this video, please do, because there is a lot of things that I've been talking about the background of the characters. So for this project, as I mentioned in part 1, this project is actually a draw this again challenge. So I've literally taken my old, very old drawing of the same character, and now I made a completely new picture to see and to showcase how much I progressed throughout the years. I took it a little bit further with getting additional challenge, because this is actually 2 drawings that I'm having here. So one drawing was where the sisters were kind of looking at each other through the mirror, like here, and it was also the same idea because it was the sketchbook and it was supposed to be like one character on one side and then the other character on the other side. Also, there was another picture of my sisters standing there in a chibi style, so I have a chibi drawing as well. As you can see, this is quite a big project because my sketchbook is pretty large on this format. It's smaller than A4 because it's square, but the total spread is a little bit over the A4 format, so it took me a while to finish. But I really wanted to make the spread and fill it in as much as I could, so I decided to make this into one big project instead of 2 separate. So you can see a showcasing of one sister on the left side and then the other one on the right side. And you can kind of see how it's already seen that they are much different from each other, because Arianna is more like looking at you from above like, what? And Arianna, she is more bubbly and she's so smiley and sunshiny. As much as I know, for twin sisters, it's usually the case. I had some friends that were twin sisters. We were studying together in a music school. They were very different from each other, even though I could barely tell them apart, especially when I just met them. By the first looks, they were completely the same, but like the more I knew them, the more I understood which one sister is which, because they were getting like more different for me. Not only by the character traits, but also you can notice like small, tiny changes in their appearance as well, but like it can only be really seen or heard from their voice if you are friends with them and like you're often spending time with both of them or at least one of them. So yeah, that's what I wanted to showcase as well with these characters. I already mentioned in part 1 that the design for the characters, it has been changed a lot, because originally they started as characters for Assassin's Creed series as fan art characters like OC, and then later on me and my friend, we decided that we would make like the whole world for them, because I started drawing manga with the characters from the game and including my own character as well. So one day we just decided we would make a whole new settings for them to be a part of, so they can be an independent character with their own unique story. So Arianna from the sisters duo, she is also very good at alchemy, just as her sister, because their parents are also both alchemists and they are professors in the alchemy university. But they were trained differently to fight because of their personalities, and they are having like different strengths and weaknesses. They were trained to actually complement each other's weaknesses, because it's a very good tactics to go with. So you have 2 people that have something they're strong in and they're covering this for the other person, and then you have the other person who is stronger in other things and they are covering this for the first person. So Arianna, she is the backup in a fight. So if they happen to get involved or engaged into a fight, she would be the shooter from behind. So she has like this crossbow and she is a good shooter with it. So in case any engagement, physical fight would happen, Arietta would draw out her sword and her knives and she would go like as a frontliner, and Arianna, she would cover her back from behind and like shooting enemies from afar. This can also be interpreted a little bit on their character, because Arianna, she is more like a kinder person. If there is any type of conflict, she would rather avoid it. So that's what also her weapon represents. Like she can shoot her enemies if she gets their weak spot or like gets them like, I don't know, an arrow in the knee, immobilizes them so she can retreat. And Arietta on the other side, she would rather go right in and like engage physically closely with the enemy and fight them off with her sword and alchemical skills. As you can see, both sisters, they have peonies in their costumes. That is because they are coming from Agnesian race and culture, and their culture is very fashionable, and their culture has a lot of flowers in it, like not only in the clothing, but also even in the cuisine, and a lot of decorations in architecture. They also have like these flowery patterns. In general, it's a big sign for the Ignatians, especially peonies. Not only flowers in general, but peonies, they are a big sign for the race itself, because their goddess, she loves peonies and she's growing them in her garden. So that's what actually transferred from the goddess to her children, let's say. I wanted to include flowers for the both sisters designs, but I made it a little more flowery for Arianna because she's more like a girly girl. Like she would be the one interested in getting fashionable, or like she's the one who is looking for details in clothing, and she's like very accurate with her accessories, for example. Arietta, she doesn't care much about that, like she would rather just blend in with the crowd and not drag any attention, as any good spy would do. Even for the information gathering, they have a slightly different approach. Well, not slightly, that's actually a very big difference in their approach. Because Arietta, she would rather go in and kidnap, torture, like do whatever she needs to do to get the information, and like she can beat other Lyrians if she needs to do it, she would do it. Arianna on the other side, she would be like more soft, more political approach. She would be like a good cop in this duo. So let's say they're starting with Arianna trying to gather some information from whoever, and if she doesn't succeed, Arietta steps in and she can, you know, be the bad cop for this case. Sorry, baby, I'm busy. What do you want? I don't know. I don't know what he wants. What do you want? Hey, Sparrow. He has zoomies this night. That is very, very demure. Okay, I gave him some toys so he can play. He was bored. So for the tools for the drawing itself, I'm using the regular tools for me, which is alcohol-based markers for the coloring and then fine liners for the outline. Firstly, I was making the sketch with my regular pencils. I'm filling up here big chunks of the drawing. So the whole hair and the whole pants part is covered in light brown firstly. I'm going in also with some smaller strokes for her ears to make the color look a little more solid. As the hair, it has more of the texture to it because of the long hair. Like obviously their ears are also hairy and fluffy, but not as fluffy and textured as the hair because the hair is very, very long. My favorite part of drawing a character is their hair, and whenever I have a long-haired characters, I'm just relaxing as I'm coloring the whole thing, adding highlights, shadows, and it's so relaxing for me. It's like a meditation, sort of. And in this project, hair of Arianna and hair of Arietta, you can see it's very detailed. Like I'm not usually that much dedicated to adding details to the hair, but for this one, I just went in and added more and more and more as I went, and then I ended up with a very, very detailed hair. Actually, I think it's attracting a little bit more attention than I anticipated. Maybe I should go back in and add some more details to their clothing. So the base colors are done right now, and I'm going with very dark brown marker to add some very contrast shadows. And then after I'm done with that, I am planning to make a comeback with a slightly lighter brown and smooth out the shadows so they would be more soft. And as you can see, I'm adding more shadows next to the places that are intervening with each other. Because if you're thinking in layers, let's say, like the front layer would be the braids, then the second layer would be her face and her body, then the third layer would be her tail, which is covered in this cutesy flowery tail dress. And then the last and most farther layer is her behind here. So I'm adding more shadows around these places, so it will pop out like in the 3D and it would look more believable. So I thought firstly that I would go with same colored pants for Arianna as well as Arietta, but later I decided to cover it up a little bit more with red color to give Arianna a slightly different look. And I think pink fits her more and red also in general. So I'm just slowly adding more shadows to the places where it needs to be added. Then I'm detailing out each flower and then folds on the clothing. So in the first part, I was mentioning why Arietta's character is more closed and more suspicious, let's say. Arianna, she's more bubbly, she's more smiley, she's kinder to strangers than Arietta for sure. This difference comes from their past. I mentioned what happened in the past in the first video. Arianna, she doesn't have any memory of these events. That's why she's more open-minded and more open-charactered. She's like more welcoming person in general because of that, because she's not as much afraid as Arietta is. So since her sister had to kind of save her life, Arianna was traumatized, so she forgot all of the events, and that's why her character is not as much affected by the past events as Arietta's. And oftentimes sisters are arguing about it, like Arianna is trying to be like friendlier to Lyrians, and then she's trying to make more strangers like her, and when Arietta sees that, she's like, why would you do that? Like, you shouldn't trust just anyone like this easy, like you should kind of test them first and see what they're up to and what are their intentions and stuff. But Arianna is just this naive little kid in her soul. She has too much joy in her soul, so she often falls in trouble for that as well. I kind of relate with this character more than Arietta. Sometimes I feel like I lack awareness of other people, so I kind of wanted to implement this for Arianna's character as well. I also have an older sister. We're not twins. We have like 4 years apart from each other. She's 4 years older than I am. I guess she's a little bit alike with Arietta. She's this more mature character, more serious, and I can't say she's more intelligent because they're both very intelligent characters, but she's like more smart in certain places, and Arianna is more smart in other aspects of life. Who do you relate more to, Arietta or to Arianna? Tell me in the comments, I'm very curious. So for this one, I experimented a little bit with my tools on hand. I had these little brush pens that were same color with my fine liners, and I wanted to see what would happen if I went over alcohol-based markers with these brushes. And as you can see, the result before and after looks very different, and it added so much saturation to the hair and so much detail, especially like with every stroke the hair became more alive. If I can say that, like hair is not alive, but like you get me. It looks very, very believable, as if it was almost realistic. I like how it came out. Maybe I should try to keep the same style for every character that I do. I told mostly about Arietta's and Arianna's father last video, but I never really mentioned what is their mother like. So she is also coming from a noble family, but she is coming originally from an alchemist family, so she was not making a smaller branch like their father did, because their main family is banker's family, and their mother, Liliana, she was coming from an alchemist family. They were all also very intelligent, and they also have 3 sisters in their family. Liliana, she was the youngest one, and she got married the first one, which is ironic. She fell for Emiliano when they were studying together in the University of Alchemy in the capital city of the world, after the Chiarelli family have fled from their original country. So they had to build their life in the new city like from scratch. But since they had money from the main family, they could relatively easy do that. Noble resources, they are pretty large in this world. And also, Emiliano became very popular and very skilled alchemist, so it's not only because he's coming from a noble family, but also because his skills and his dedication to the science, it's very good. That's why it paid off. I wanted my readers and my players to be encouraged to study and to be dedicated to whatever they like. So this is a perfect example of what dedication can get you into. Mother Liliana, she was also a very skilled alchemist. She was also very good cultural activist. She was, you know, the students that are talented and they are taking part of some talent shows in their universities and schools. She was that type of character, and she's playing musical instruments, and she also taught her daughters instruments. She's playing piano, so both sisters, they can also play piano, and I think that's kind of cool to see them play together. I should make a drawing of them playing piano together, actually. That's a cool thing to do. So I'm mostly done with the coloring. After I see most of the colors are good for me and they're looking great for me, I don't want to add anything else. I am just going in with my fine liners and adding some details to that and polishing out some hair braids and like adding thickness here and there. And as soon as I'm done, I'm done. I wanted to ask you to drop a comment if you like this video, so you can help me to boost this video for more people to be seen. This here is a final result. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and let me know what you think. Also, I would love to hear your ideas, so let me know in the comments what you would like me to draw next. If you like to see more of my drawings, please make sure to subscribe and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!